Hello, 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 and welcome, my friends, once again to me, mom, and dad. Welcome. I'm so glad to be talking to you again. We have been on a bit of a hiatus and we are back. We always intended on coming back. My name is Tia. My mom's name is Gloria. My dad's name is Harold. At the moment, we, meaning myself and all of us, you guys too, we are in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. That was a little bit part of our hiatus, and now we're back. We hope that you guys are staying safe, and most of us are sheltering in place. And I hope you're being safe and keeping your heads up, my friends. This podcast started out, if you are new listeners, this podcast started out with us sharing information to the Parkinson's community. My dad, Harold, has Parkinson's, and we felt like we were sharing some vital information with his growth. He is 86 and a half. He'll be 87 in May. Excuse me. And he does very well. We're very thankful and blessed that he most days you wouldn't even know that he has Parkinson's, and we wanted to share the good things that we do to keep him so young. He doesn't even look 86 and a half. And we wanted to share the things we have learned. We wanted to share the things that are not so good and that we've learned, and that's how this podcast started. Then this podcast just went into just some uh, uh, positive messages and feel good messages, and also sharing recipes. My mom and I, my brother and sister, we're all cooks, so I will be sharing later on banana bread. Apparently, while we are all locked in, we're all cooking and eating, and the number one recipe download, apparently I've heard on different shows, is banana bread. So I'm going to share our banana bread recipe and our homemade pancakes, which I've shared these recipes before. So I'm going to share banana bread and pancakes. So stay tuned for that, my friends. Um, as I said, we were in the middle of we were doing a hiatus because, golly, when was it? 2 months ago? What are we in? We're in April now. About 2 months ago, we had to take him to the emergency room because he got severely dehydrated. Praise the Lord, they didn't keep him overnight. I guess it must have been January because the doctors were like, you know what, guys, we don't want to keep him overnight. You're doing the right thing with giving him Powerade mixed with water and giving him the right things for hydrating. They put a bag on him and hydrated him back quickly. And the doctor said, I don't want him spending the night here. I'd rather him not get something here. You know why she said that? Because this corona COVID-19 thing was floating around these hospitals January and before. And so they hydrated my dad back and sent us home. And so uh, Parkinson's Parkinson's folks, apparently, I read that can be really prone to dehydration. My dad can be real prone to it because he's on a bunch of blood pressure medication as well that dehydrates him. So we're really on top of the hydrating. So um, it's all good. I really get on his nerves because I'm giving him like big jugs of water all day long, but it is working. We thought he was drinking enough before, but he wasn't. So with the summer months coming, we're really on top of this dehydration. So that's why that was one of the reasons why we were on a little bit of a hiatus, and then this shelter in place thing came along, and here we are. I just took my dad for a little ride. My mom's 83. My dad again is 86 and a half, and they've been saying they don't want seniors out, but he was getting a bit of cabin fever, so we just took a ride on the coast a little bit. Just took a ride. We didn't get out of the car, and we just sat and looked at the beautiful ocean and came right back just to, so he wouldn't continue with cabin fever. To the Parkinson's community, one of the symptoms of Parkinson's, if you're not careful, is Parkinson's patients can go into a depression if you're not careful. My dad does pretty good. Well, we have a lot of family that come around to keep his spirits up, but being inside day after day, he loves going to the gym, and we're not able to do that. He loves going to the barber shop and shooting the breeze with his barbershop guys, and he can't do that. He was calling his barber yesterday, and I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, I'm calling my barber. I'm calling dude. And I'm like, Dad, remember I told you you can't go to the barbershop. Why not? And I'm like, it's closed, and I explained to him. So that's funny. He knows I told him that, but so I asked him if he wanted me to trim his hair, and he doesn't want me to trim his hair. He's like, no, no, thank you. He's like, well, why can't he come to the house? He didn't sound like that, but that's me imitating him. So we're trying to keep our spirits up, the three of us. And I pray that all of us in this world and in our country, that we can pray that the Almighty God come down and for our sakes put an end to this pandemic. Please, God. As I said, we're giving my dad, to keep him hydrated, he electrolytes is the key. So I was doing electrolyte drops, but it seemed like the Parkinson's medication, nothing can interfere with the Parkinson's medication. And the Parkinson's medication is the boss. And the Parkinson's medication is cortidopa levodopa. We call it the yellow pill to my Parkinson's community friends. And my mom and we've learned that it's the yellow pill is the boss. Nothing can interfere. The yellow pill does not like protein and sometimes electrolytes. So we give him his yellow pill. We let it absorb on mostly an empty stomach. After he eats, we wait 2 hours before he takes his next yellow pill. And during that 2 hours, he doesn't eat anything. So I have to figure out how to get these electrolytes in his body to stay hydrated. At the moment, I'm just doing a little bit of Powerade mixed with water, because Powerade is really good. But my dad has high blood pressure, and it's a lot of sodium in Powerade. So I've learned to just give him Powerade in doses around this yellow pill. Because the key to his success as a Parkinson's patient and being healthy and having a fruitful life is allowing the cortidopa levodopa, the yellow pill, to absorb properly in his body. Like, we don't let him eat a meal and then give him the pill with the meal. That will not work. At least it does not work for my dad. So those of you who have family members or you're dealing with some Parkinson's, it needs to be by itself, that yellow pill. The doctors say the same thing. But for my dad, we wait 2 hours before and after a meal. That is the key. Parkinson's is the brain is not making enough, I believe, dopamine, and this yellow pill, cortidopa levodopa, puts the dopamine or that chemical back in their brain, and it works. After about, you can tell when the yellow pill is running out, he'll start to uh, not be able to walk. We call it wobbly legs, and he'll be pretty much crippled. He can't walk. He's tremoring. But if the cortidopa levodopa, the yellow pill, if it absorbs properly around the meals, it works. And there are certain things that the yellow pill just does not like. It does not like protein. And so in the morning, I give my dad a bunch of apples. Apples apparently is the fruit that has no protein. And fruits that have like a less than half a gram of protein. He has a light breakfast to make his after he has his breakfast, his light breakfast with less protein. Uh, we wait 2 hours after his breakfast, and then we give him his next yellow pill so he can walk and be normal, have a fruitful day, and it works, letting the Parkinson's medication absorb. And so I have to figure out how to keep the Powerade out of the way. I don't think the yellow pill likes the electrolytes or whatever's in the Powerade, so I give him that Powerade at lunchtime, and then we wait 2 hours for his lunch to digest, and then he'll have his next yellow pill. That gives you an idea of how we deal with him having a wonderful life living with Parkinson's. Of course, my friends, I've said on previous episodes, and it is so important. Exercise, 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 exercise is the key to having a fruitful life with Parkinson's. I was just looking at one of the Parkinson's videos, and they were saying the same thing, that you can slow the progression of this Parkinson's if you make exercise your life. And so now our challenges with the gyms closed with this pandemic thing. About a while ago, I bought a bike, a stationary bike that's in the garage. And so since we can't go to the gym, I do exercises with him with the exercise band, the rubber. We do his legs and his arms with that. And he has, years ago, he went to a um, uh, exercise person that gave him physical therapy. Like, he had some physical therapy sessions that strengthened his body, and he remembers the exercises. So he does the exercise bike with this pandemic thing going on. He does exercise bike in the garage, and I do the band with his legs, and he does his own physical therapy, lifts his legs and his arms, and he really misses the gym, but uh, we're doing something every day while we are sheltering in place. And my mom had knee surgery in December, which was part of our hiatus as well. We had to get her back on her feet. And so she's doing some physical therapy too with the bike. And that's what we're doing while we're all staying in the house. Exercise, exercise, exercise is the key for having a fruitful life with Parkinson's. But I found out those of us who don't have Parkinson's, exercise is important. So important too. But it is amazing how it is medicine for Parkinson's disease. It can really slow the progress. If you can get up and start slow with walking or moving your legs, you'll see that your body gets stronger and stronger. And my dad is a witness, which is why we started this podcast. And as I said before, the other reason is we share recipes. Okay, my mom has been a cook. We owned a bakery some years ago, and she has handed down her cooking skills to me and my mom. To my sister and my brother. I usually have my brother or my sister, somebody on this podcast while we're in the kitchen cooking and shooting the breeze. But I don't have anyone on this one. So the next one, my brother will be coming soon, and we'll get him on here because he swears he is the best cook of all. How about I start with the banana bread? This recipe's awesome. Here's the ingredients you can write down. You will need 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, 4 very ripe bananas. If you can let the bananas sit, the blacker the banana, the sweeter. I mean, literally, we've had black bananas making this recipe. But if they can be brown and bruised, that's really good. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, half cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okie dokie, and here is what you do. Of course, you preheat the oven at 350 degrees. This recipe is so easy. And I say that, but a lot of my friends are like, Tia, I'm not a regular cook, so don't assume that, I understand everything. Back to the electrolytes, I was mentioning that my dad, keeping him hydrated, sometimes he can be stubborn, and I give him the water. I literally put the straw in his mouth, and he's like, I'm full. So I've been making popsicles and or making like water ices in a cup, freezing them, and I put a little bit of Powerade in the juice or the popsicles, fruit popsicles, and I give him soups too every other day to keep him hydrated. So popsicles and soups. My dad is the smartest guy in the world, but it is funny how it's like I have to, like, that's how we do our kindergarten class. Give him popsicles, but he loves them, and that's what keeps him hydrated. So that's an idea too. So you back to the banana bread. You preheat the oven, 350. In a medium bowl, you put flour. You use a separate bowl to put your dry ingredients. Dry ingredients is the flour, the baking soda. That's what we call the dry ingredients. So in a separate bowl, put your flour, your baking soda, your baking powder, and your salt. And in another bowl, large bowl, you're going to cream together eggs and sugar. Cream together means you're just mixing together the eggs and the sugar. Stir in mashed bananas. So mash up the bananas and all that. Put your vanilla and your oil and your cinnamon into the mixture. Stir in flour mixture. Now that separate bowl of dry ingredients, your flour, etc., you're pouring into this mixture, a third at a time until just combined. Divide batter into 9 9x5 loaf pans. Bake about an hour. About an hour, you'll see a toothpick. You'll take a toothpick and stick in the center. If no batter comes out, your banana bread is amazing. Homemade pancakes. You need 1 cup of sifted flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a half teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of buttermilk. If you're hearing thunder, I didn't know. I'm in my little recording room, and it's thunderstorms. Sorry about that. I guess I can't help that, huh? I didn't know it was going to be that, but that's what that noise is. Some thunderstorms. I'll try to end this so I don't get electrocuted. 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of shortening of melted butter. 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You sift together your dry ingredients. So you need a sifter that the flour goes through and it thins out and makes the flour real soft. Sift together your flour, your baking powder. Beat beat 1 egg and your milk together. Beat your egg and milk together. Mix into dry ingredients. That's pretty much. Add your butter. Again, sift your dry ingredients. Beat your egg and your milk together. Mix the egg and milk into the dry ingredients, into the flour. Add your butter, your 2 tablespoons of butter. Mix briskly. Mix really well. Briskly, I can't say it. Briskly. Pour about 5 tablespoons on a hot greased grill or skillet. Okay? Pour about 5 tablespoons of batter to make a pancake. You will wait for bubbles to appear into the pancakes. That's when you know you can flip your pancakes. Okie dokie. That's it. That's easy. You're welcome. Okay, my friends, if you are listening, please subscribe to this podcast. And you can also leave me comments if you like. I've got some wonderful comments from one of our listeners who was also saying that garlic is not good for Parkinson's patients. Of course, she said beef. Beef is a lot of protein. We do give my dad, we had beef for dinner today, but I am careful to not give him beef every day. But at dinner time, he seems to be okay. But one of my listeners did say that I didn't know about the garlic, and I put some garlic in his soup, and because garlic helps with blood pressure. And I did notice right after he ate the soup, he had some wobbly legs. In other words, he didn't walk as well. So you can leave me comments, please, positive comments, and there's if you want to subscribe up where you're listening up the top, there's some icons, and that Wi-Fi looking icon, you click on that to subscribe. And you can also email me. If you want to email, you just click on that envelope and it'll go to my email. Excuse me. And you can leave comments, please, positive comments. I hope that you guys are keeping your spirits up, always keeping the faith. My dad is a minister, and he always taught us, no matter what we're going through, that God is in control. This pandemic thing, it seems like, are you kidding us? But God is omnipotent, omnipresent, and this too shall pass. So stay with your families and cook this banana bread. Enjoy one another. And we're social distancing, right? My dad was saying when I go to the gym, I was like, Dad, when you go to the gym, you're going to have to wear a mask and gloves. And he was like, well, I'll wait to see what everybody's doing. And I was like, very nicely and respectfully as I could as a daughter, I was like, you will be wearing a mask and gloves. And when we leave there, you will leave that gym, you will be washing your hands diligently. So we're waiting to be able to gather together with our family when they loosen some of these restrictions. You guys continue to listen to and support our podcast, please. As I said, please subscribe and keep your chin up, keep your spirits up, right? And we'll keep doing these podcasts. We love it. And I'll hopefully have some of my family members on the next podcast, because they'll be coming hopefully soon when we're able to gather together. I'll get my brother and my sister and another some other family members who are dear, dear friends of ours. We'll get everybody together. Please keep your chins up. Remember, exercise, exercise, exercise is the key. Thank you for listening, my friends. Please enjoy the music.